Australia is known for its stunning landscapes, but hidden within its beauty are forests cloaked in fear. From restless spirits to chilling disappearances, these woods don't just whisper, they scream. These aren't places you visit, they're places that remember you. Welcome to the top 10 haunted forests in Australia. Enter if you dare. One, Belanglo State Forest, New South Wales. There's a forest in New South Wales where silence feels alive. Belanglo State Forest. Just the name can chill the blood of any Australian. By day, it looks like any other forest. Tall pines, dusty trails, birdsong in the air. But as the sun sinks behind the trees, the forest changes. Locals say, once darkness falls, something watches you from the shadows. Not animals, not people, but echoes of what once was. Whispers float through the trees, broken, desperate, almost human. This is where Ivan Milat brought his victims in the 1990s. 7 young backpackers entered these woods and never came out. Their bodies were found, but the forest never gave back their peace. Campers talk about footsteps crunching just behind them, cold hands brushing their shoulders when no one's around. And worst of all, some say they've seen the lost, staring from the trees, mouths open as if trying to scream. You can visit if you like. Many do. But remember, Belanglo doesn't forget. And sometimes, it doesn't let go. 2. Otway Forest, Victoria. Deep in Victoria, where the wind weaves through twisted trees and the fog clings like breath on a mirror, lies Otway Forest. It's a place of stunning beauty by day, but when night falls, the forest breathes differently. Locals warn of the mist that rises not from the ground, but from the past. Along these trails, voices have been heard, soft, sorrowful, drifting on the wind like lullabies from the dead. They say the spirits of shipwreck victims wander here, lost souls from the nearby shipwreck coast, still searching for land they never reached. One hiker swears he followed a woman in white, barefoot, silent, until she turned into the trees and vanished. No trace, no footprints, just a sudden, suffocating cold. But the strangest tale, a log cabin deep in the woods that no longer exists, except some claim, at certain times. Those who find it say they hear knocking from inside. 3 slow knocks. Always 3. They say Otway doesn't just remember tragedy, it replays it, again and again. And once you hear the knocks, you're part of the story now. 3. Cumberland State Forest, New South Wales. Hidden just outside Sydney in New South Wales, lies Cumberland State Forest, the last place you'd expect to feel truly alone. It looks harmless, peaceful even. Families walk its trails by day, laughing under filtered sunlight. But when dusk settles, a thick silence creeps in, and with it, something else. Park rangers whisper about the woman in the red dress, a figure seen gliding between the trees, her face always turned away. They say she appears to those who stray too far off the trail, then disappears the moment they call out. One boy went missing here in the 1980s, just vanished. Searchers said they heard laughter in the woods at night, childlike but distant. When they followed the sound, it moved, always just out of reach. Some claim the forest is a thin place, a veil between worlds, easily torn. Phones die, compasses spin, and time seems to warp. You can leave whenever you want. But if you see the woman, don't follow her. She walks with sorrow, and she walks alone for a reason. Four, Barmah Forest, Victoria. In Victoria, where the mighty Murray River winds like a serpent through ancient land, there lies Barmah Forest, dense, tangled, and whispering with secrets. It's the home of the red gums, trees so twisted they almost look like they're screaming. Locals say the forest is alive, not just with wildlife, but with spirits. For thousands of years, this land belonged to the Yorta people, sacred, powerful, but never silent. Even today, people report hearing chanting in the distance, soft, rhythmic, almost mournful. No one's there. Fishermen tell of a dark figure standing just beyond the reeds, always watching, never moving. When they turn away and look back, it's gone. And then there's the man with no eyes, a tall shape seen on misty mornings, gliding across the water. His face is blank, but some say he's searching for the people who took what wasn't theirs. Barma isn't a forest you walk through. It's a place that watches you back, and if you don't respect it, it just might follow you home. Five, Myala, Daguilar National Park, Queensland. Tucked high in the mountains of Queensland, deep within Daguilar National Park, lies Myala, a rainforest dripping with moss, mist, and mystery. It's quiet there, too quiet. Even the birds seem to hold their breath. Locals say that after sunset, the forest begins to whisper, not with wind, but with something older, something watching. Hikers report hearing footsteps behind them on empty trails, branches snapping, low breathing. One couple swore they heard a child crying deep in the bush. They followed the sound, calling out. But when they got closer, it stopped, and the forest shifted. Campers have seen figures between the trees, tall black silhouettes with no faces, standing, still, watching, and always, just far enough away that you question your eyes. Some believe the land remembers pain, echoes of lives lost to the cliffs and gorges nearby. Others think something older dwells there. So if you ever walk Maiala after dark, stay on the trail, don't answer the cries, because in this forest, not everything that calls for help is human. Six, Karijini National Park, Western Australia. In the heart of the Pilbara, far from city lights and comfort, lies Karajini National Park, a land carved by time and shadow in Western Australia. Its deep gorges and narrow chasms are breathtaking by day. But when night falls, the red earth hums with something ancient, something unsettled. The local Aboriginal people speak of spirits here, warning spirits, guardians of the land. They say, if you hear whispers echoing from the gorge walls, don't answer. It means something has noticed you. One traveler descended alone into Hancock Gorge, chasing a strange melody he couldn't explain. He came back hours later, shaking, soaked, and silent. He never spoke about what he saw, but he never went back. Others have seen glowing figures walking across the rocks, leaving no footprints. Time feels strange down there. Watches stop. Shadows move the wrong way. And in some parts, the air goes dead still. No wind, no sound. Just that heavy feeling, like you're not alone, and never were. Karajini is stunning, sacred, but not safe. Because in this place, if the spirits don't want you there, they let you know. Seven, Lerderderg State Park, Victoria. Not far from Bacchus Marsh in Victoria, Lerderderg State Park waits, rugged, untamed, and thick with more than just trees. By day, it's a haven for hikers and explorers. But when the sun dips behind the hills, a different story unfolds. One whispered by campfires and passed in hushed tones. This was once gold rush country, and with gold came greed, betrayal, and blood. Bushrangers once roamed these trails. Some died violently, their bodies never found, and some say neither were their souls. Campers speak of phantom footsteps circling their tents, distant gunshots with no echo. One man claimed he saw a flickering lantern in the gorge, thought someone was lost. But when he approached, the light vanished, and the path behind him was gone. Then there's the singing. A woman's voice, sweet, mournful, drifting through the trees around midnight. No source, no face, just sound that chills your spine and freezes your steps. Locals warn, if you hear her song, don't follow it. Lerderderg doesn't like strangers, and if it chooses you, you may never find your way out. Eight, Springbrook National Park, Queensland, high in the misty mountains of Queensland, where waterfalls plunge like silver blades, and the clouds seem to cling to the trees, lies Springbrook National Park. Beautiful, enchanted, and deeply haunted. This land is sacred, home to ancient Aboriginal spirits said to guard the veil between worlds. And when the fog rolls in thick, that veil feels paper thin. Visitors talk of disembodied whispers along the forest paths, voices speaking in languages long forgotten. One hiker swore he saw a pale figure standing at the edge of a cliff, arms outstretched, unmoving. When he blinked, it was gone, but his phone wouldn't turn back on for hours. There's a place called Best of All Lookout, but at night, locals say it shows more than just the view. Some have seen faces in the mist, hovering just beyond the rail, as if watching, waiting. And sometimes, deep in the bush, you'll hear rocks shifting, though nothing's there. No animals, no wind. Just that slow, grinding sound, like something ancient, waking up. Springbrook is breathtaking, but if you feel eyes on you when you're alone, you probably aren't imagining it. Nine, Dorrigo National Park, New South Wales. Hidden in the misty mountains of New South Wales, Dorrigo National Park is a lush, living rainforest, green, dripping, and ancient. But beneath its beauty lies something darker. Locals whisper that the forest remembers everything, and sometimes it repeats what it remembers. Travelers have vanished along the winding trails, only to reappear hours or even days later, confused, silent, unable to explain where they've been. One woman claimed she walked in a circle for hours, though her GPS said she never moved. The trees around her kept changing shape, as if the forest itself was shifting. There's an old Aboriginal legend of wandering spirits, restless souls who walk the forest endlessly, seeking a way home. Some hikers hear them late at night, soft footsteps on the boardwalk behind them, even when they're completely alone. And then there's the mirror pool, still, glassy water deep in the forest. Some say if you stare too long, your reflection starts to smile back, even when you don't. Dorrigo is alive. Beautiful, yes, but beware. Not everything that moves here is meant to be seen, and not every path leads out. Ten, Daintree National Park, Queensland. In the far north of Queensland, where vines hang like skeletal fingers and the air feels thick with memory, lies Daintree National Park, one of the oldest rainforests on Earth, and one of the most haunted. This land is sacred, Ancient, it breathes with the stories of thousands of years, and some of those stories refuse to die. The Kukuyalanji people speak of shadow spirits, beings that live between the trees, watching, waiting. If you hear your name whispered in the forest, don't answer. It's not someone you know. Tourists report vanishing paths, sudden cold winds in the middle of summer, and strange markings on trees that weren't there hours before. One man wandered off the trail after spotting a child in white, barefoot, silent. He followed her for minutes, then she disappeared. He was found the next morning, face pale, eyes wide, unable to speak. The forest is a maze of life and death. And in some parts, the vines don't just grow, they reach. Step carefully in Daintree, because here, the spirits are old, and they never left. So, would you walk into the shadows of these forests alone? Remember, every tree has a memory, every trail a secret, and some spirits don't like to be forgotten. Subscribe for more true horror and haunted places, because the next story might be waiting in your own backyard.